Greetings investigators, and welcome to 20 questions all about the town of Arkham as seen in the Fantasy Flight Games Arkham Horror universe. This video was originally a competition to win an early copy of Welcome to Arkham from Aconite Books, which is now the definitive guide to the world of Arkham Horror. But we have stripped out the giveaway part and added the answers at the end so you can see how well you did. If you like this format and want us to run more trivia quizzes with prizes, let us know in the comments below. If you think you are an Arkham superfan, then you can try and answer the question straight up. If not, then we will show you some multiple choice answers to try and make things easier for you. Use your pause button to give yourself some thinking time, and we will give you the answers at the end. We tried to arrange the questions in order of difficulty so it gets progressively harder, but if you don't know, you don't know, right? Question 1. Which river divides Arkham? The Essex, the Massachusetts, the Miskatonic, or the Salem? Question 2. Who is Arkham's current mayor? Mayor Mapplethorpe, Joseph Peabody, Honest Bob, or Charlie Kane? Question 3. What is the name of this nondescript two-story L-shaped building? The Curiosity Shop, Ye Olde Magic Shop, the Silver Twilight Lodge, the Historical Society? Question 4. From which hill is this view taken? French Hill, Meadow Hill, Crane Hill, Hangman's Hill? Question 5. Which organisation has its headquarters in this building? The Silver Twilight Lodge, the Arkham Rotary Club, the Arkham Public Library, the Arkham Historical Society? Question 6. How did Marie Lambeau describe Arkham? A wretched hive of scum and villainy? You all have such a quaint town? I love it. Get me out of here. Question 7. What's in the Lumberjack Special? Eggs, bacon, sausage and hash browns, egg, bacon, sausage and spam, spam, egg, bacon and spam, 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 spam and spam. Question 8. An Arkham City police badge incorporates a star with how many points? Write down whichever number you think. Question 9. Which island is part of Arkham? The Undiscovered Isle, the Uninhabited Isle, the Unnamed Isle, or the Unvisited Isle? Question 10. What colour is the cave in Rivertown? Red, blue, black, or yellow? Question 11. How many sides does the head of a Clover Club bottle opener have? Write down whichever number you think. Question 12. Where would you find the Ruggles collection? The Orne Library, the Miskatonic Museum, the Arkham Historical Society, or the Arkham Advertiser? Question 13. How frequently does the Miskatonic local train from Arkham to Kingsport run? Twice per hour, twice per day, twice per week, or twice per month? Question 14. Where would you find the Baron? The Curiosity Shop, Ye Olde Magic Shop, the Graveyard, the Nightingale Club? Question 15. Known colloquially as the Graveyard, what is the proper name for this place of burial? St. Mary's Cemetery, Christchurch Cemetery, South Church Cemetery, or Potter's Field? Question 16. Schaffner's General Store was built over the ruins of which previous business? Osborne's General Store, First National Grocery, Henderson's Oddities, the Arkham General Store? Question 17. What happened to the architect of this building? He was never seen again, he fled the country, he joined an expedition, he became a patient at Arkham Asylum. Question 18. Which two districts does this bridge join? Merchant District, Rivertown, North Side, South Side? Question 19. Where is this meeting taking place? The Clover Club, the TikTok Club, Velma's Diner, Hibbs Roadhouse? Question 20. What time is it? The witching hour, 2 minutes to midnight, 9 p.m. And that was 20 questions all about Arkham, which you should be able to answer before Welcome to Arkham is released. So investigators, how well do you think you did? Do you believe the questions got harder, or was it all gibberish? We have always wanted to do some sort of Arkham general knowledge quiz, particularly around the channel's birthday in November, when we traditionally give away a copy of Arkham Horror. But this always seemed like too much hard work. And we were right. This was actually a super hard video to make and took way longer than we thought. Coming up with the questions was easy and we have enough for future quizzes, but verifying the answers without resorting to using Welcome to Arkham, which hadn't been released at that time, was challenging. Despite the multiple choice answers, we didn't want this to be a pure guessing game. There were 20 questions and 22 correct answers. In the first run, no one got everything correct, so we gave the prize to the person that got the closest. So let's see how well you did. Let us know in the comments below how many you got right. Hopefully this is an easy one to start with, as it is unchanged from Lovecraft's original design. You can find it in the blurb on the Aconite Books website. It's all over the FFG website. It's in the introduction to the 3rd edition Board Game Deluxe rulebook, as well as at least 10 separate entries in the Investigators of Arkham book. Not to mention having a location card in the card game that we used as the art for our question. So you should have no excuse not to get at least one correct. This might be trickier than you think. Joseph Peabody and Honest Bob were names we made up. But if you look at the back of the 1st edition of the Arkham Horror board game, you will see that in 1926 the Mayor of Arkham is Mayor Mapplethorpe. However, this edition was not published by Fantasy Flight Games, so is the first of our red herrings. Which leaves Charlie Kane, who is referred to as a politician in all the Arkham Files games, and you may be familiar with his iconic artwork, which, if you look at the full uncropped version, is his mayoral portrait with the date 1926 to present, showing he is the current mayor. Even though in his own story it doesn't mention his title specifically, it does in the Mandy Thompson one, and also the novel Lair of the Crystal Fang. A nice easy one. The artwork is the Jacobus Wagintas depiction of Arkham's uptown neighbourhood, and we can see that the highlighted building is Ye Olde Magic Shop. The nondescript 2-story L-shaped building comes from its entry in the Board Game Deluxe rulebook. This is the artwork for French Hill by Cristi Balanescu. You can find it as a location in the card game, as well as the full artwork in Investigators of Arkham and the Dark Horse art book. Speaking of which, this art is front and centre on that book's Arkham Historical Society page. You can also see it in Mandy Thompson's short story. Ignoring the humorous answer and the Star Wars quote, both the remaining answers are true. They come from a newspaper quote in a mocked-up copy of the Arkham Advertiser, most of which appears in the Rex Murphy story in the Investigators of Arkham book. A tome which should be your first stop for most Arkham questions until you get your copy of Welcome to Arkham. The artwork depicts Easttown. The most famous eatery in that neighbourhood is Velma's Diner. Agnes Baker is a waitress there, and if you look up her story in the Investigators of Arkham, you can see the specials board that shows the correct answer. Although if you picked any answer with spam in it, you are correct in spirit, if not in fact. This is a bona fide Arkham City police badge with its 5-pointed star, which you will have seen if you watched our video on the official Arkham Horror merchandise from Fanatic. Even if you didn't, Tommy Muldoon has been wearing one for some time now. The Unvisited Isle is a staple location in Arkham Horror, and this question probably should have been earlier on the list. The artwork we used is by Frey Agelli and appears on one of the Unvisited Isle cards in the card game, where it is the setting of the Union and Dissolution scenario in the Circle Undone. Another iconic location is the Black Cave. This is another item of official merchandise, but unlike the police badge and the Elder sign, looks wholly original. But it is canon and will appear in Welcome to Arkham in the Clover Club entry. It has a hexagonal head and so has 6 sides. It is in the Orne Library, and we learnt this from an unlikely source, the Final Hour rulebook, a game which is very light on lore and text in general. The Orne Library and its restricted collection are mentioned in a number of stories in the Investigators of Arkham, but the Ruggles Rare Book Room dedicated to Thomas Ruggles was only introduced in the Carolyn Fern novella To Fight the Black Wind, the full details appearing as a mock-up newspaper article. The deluxe rulebook entry for the train station lets us know the Miskatonic County local runs twice per day. Could this be a reference to Baron Samedi, Marie Lambeau's mysterious visitor at the Nightingale Club? Nope, The Baron is a wizened tortoise-shell cat who resides at the Curiosity Shop. If you didn't know this, you could easily work it out. The art we showed is the North Side neighbourhood, and the Curiosity Shop is the only one of the places listed that is in North Side. This well-used piece of art, here it is in full, depicts Christchurch Cemetery, one of the dominant features of Rivertown. Osborne's General Store is in Dunwich, First National Grocery and Henderson's Oddities are both in Innsmouth, so that only leaves the Arkham General Store. The building in question is of course Arkham Asylum, which we can see in Carolyn Fern's story in The Investigators of Arkham. Its architect, Bradley Nehemiah, did indeed become one of its patients being admitted for tuberculosis. Here is another question which obviously requires two answers. This is the Christie Balanescu art for the Merchant District. Here it is on a card of the same name. You can see the unvisited isle in the river there, and if you double check the board game tile for the Merchant District, you can see the bridge and the isle. In the Wilson Richards story, in The Investigators of Arkham, he travels over the bridge from the Merchant District to Northside, viewing the island as he crosses. Unfortunately, the Union and Dissolution scenario for the card game says the unvisited isle lies in between two of the bridges that span the river and connect the downtown and Rivertown neighbourhoods of Arkham. And this, dear viewer, is why we have never run a trivia quiz before, because there is always an exception. And as FFG has never published a map of Arkham, we can't check. Thank goodness for Welcome to Arkham, where they can now give us the definitive answer that this is the Thomas Ward Bridge that connects the Merchant District to the north side. You had better hope it has a bathroom window big enough for you to climb through before you sign that contract. This was probably the trickiest question. Even if you did own a copy of Welcome to Arkham, you can't just look this up. The most likely place is Velma's Diner. This art is from Felicia Cano, and the FFG name of the piece is SL16, Booth in the Back. SL16 is the code for the Elder Sign expansion Gates of Arkham, and here is the art. If we flip it over, we can see it is an encounter at Velma's Diner. Simples! As always, the clue is in the artwork. Once again, this is the Merchant District, and by the lights we can tell it is after dark. Front and centre, we have a business with a massive clock in the window, which in the Merchant District means it must be O'Malley's Watch Shop. Tucked away in the back alley next to an old watch shop is the TikTok Club. As you can see by the shaft of light streaming from the alley, the club must be open. It therefore means it must be midnight, because it is always midnight at the TikTok Club. Ladies and gentlemen, good night.